Some way, somehow, we are already at the first off weekend of the NASCAR Cup Series season as the drivers get the weekend off for Easter. But that's not the only significant thing about this weekend. Following the race at Bristol, we have now run 9 of 36, or a quarter of the races this season. In this video, we are going to look at the statistics and trends from those first 9 races and see what we're looking at for the remainder of the regular season. We have seen 5 winners across 9 races, Christopher Bell the top of those drivers with 3 wins already. Toyota has 5 of the 9 wins, adding 2 with Denny Hamlin. Chevrolet has 3 wins, all with Hendrick Motorsports, 2 belonging to Larson, and the Daytona 500 of course won by William Byron, and then Josh Berry getting Ford's only win at Las Vegas in the 5th race of the season. Gonna kind of gloss over this one since I do update this weekly in my race review videos, but Hendrick Motorsports has won 4 of the 9 poles this season, Byron and Bowman with 2 pole wins apiece. There have been 7 different drivers to win a pole through 9 races to start the year. 5 poles for Chevrolet, 3 for Toyota, and then the 1 lone pole for Ford coming from Ryan Blaney. Looking at our top 10 drivers in average start, and it's William Byron, the only driver in the NASCAR Cup Series with an average start under 10 at 9.7. Second place Bubba Wallace is about a position and a half back at 11.3, but something I found really surprising was Austin Cindric having the 4th best average start in the series at 12.4. Larson in 5th position with a 12.6, getting 200 cars in the top 5, and then we have a 4-way tie for 6 with Reddick, Elliott, Hamlin, and Logano all having a 12.9 average start, with Chris Buescher just 1 behind at 13 flat. On the topic of starts and starting position, we're going to take a look at the qualifying battles for all the teams. This is the same teams that I use in the teammate battles for the race reviews. These are listed in order from the biggest leads to the smallest. Starting off with RCR, and Kyle Busch is killing Austin Dillon with an 8-1 lead. He has been dominant over there. At RFK Racing, Chris Buescher has 7 of the 9 top car honors in qualifying, and they came in the first 7 races of the season. He was a perfect 7 for 7, before Ryan Preece and Brad Keselowski both added themselves to this list the past 2 races. Similar deal at Colleague Racing that we see at RCR, with AJ Allmendier having a commanding lead over Ty Dillon 7-2. Josh Berry controlling the single car teams, putting up 6 top car honors. Cody Ware yet to get on the board in that one. Over at 2311, it is Bubba Wallace doubling Tyler Reddick's 3 with 6 top car honors. Same deal at Trackhouse, Ross Chastain with 6, Daniel Suarez at 3. Both of our Rookie of the Year contenders, Riley Herbst and Shane Van Gisbergen, yet to outqualify all their teammates, sitting with donuts in this category. The qualifying battle over at Legacy Motor Club is a lot closer than the race battle, with Eric Jones actually leading this one 5-4. This is probably the most even battle through all the teams, but of course there is only 2 cars there, so it is a little bit tighter. Over at Joe Gibbs Racing, Denny Hamlin is 1 race up on Chase Briscoe, who is 1 race up on Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs at the bottom there, yet to get top car honors. Moving over to Hendrick Motorsports, and this one absolutely shocked me. Despite being top 5 through the whole series in average start, Kyle Larson is yet to outqualify all his teammates this season. He has been a consistent top 5 or top 10 qualifier, but it seems like every time he qualifies 4th, one of the other Hendrick cars qualifies 3rd. Alex Bowman is 1 race up on William Byron, who is 1 race up on Chase Elliott. Close battle there at Hendrick. The same could be said at Team Penske. Joey Logano 1 race up on Ryan Blaney, who is 1 race up on Austin Cindric with a 4-3-2 split. This one is probably going to go all the way through the season, as these guys seem to be swapping every week depending on the track type. Things are pretty similar between Front Row Motorsports and Spire in this category. Newcomer Zane Smith equaling existing driver Todd Gilliland at 4, and then over at Spire, new driver Michael McDowell equaling existing driver Carson Hocevar. Noah Gragson and Justin Haley both at 1 apiece in this one, but it is competitive at the top with a tie for the lead. Moving over to average finish now, and it is William Byron leading both average start and average finish, this time getting a little bit lower than a 9.7 at a 9.1 average finish. But he is not the only driver inside of the top 10. There are 2 other drivers joining him, and it is Joe Gibbs Racing teammates Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell at 9.7 and 9.8 respectively for their average finishes. 2 Hendrick cars rounding out the top 5, a bit of a jump to 11.6 for Chase Elliott, and then behind him at 12.3 is Kyle Larson. Wanted to mention here that Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Chase Briscoe are not in the top 10 for average start, but they are for average finish, so they are typically running better than they qualify. Bubba Wallace and then Penske teammates Austin Cindric and Joey Logano were the drivers dropping out of the top 10 from average start to average finish. Moving over to look at top 5s and top 10s, and we have 4 drivers who have finished in the top 10 6 of 9 races. Nice. Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and William Byron. But Bell, Hamlin, and Larson have 5 top 5s compared to 4 for William Byron. Chase Elliott has managed 5 top 10s, 2 of those being top 5s. Bowman, Ross Chastain, and Chris Buescher all also with 5 top 10s, but only 1 top 5 apiece. It is a 3-way tie for 9th, with Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, and Chase Briscoe all having 4 top 10s, 3 of those being top 5s. Kyle Busch joins them with 4 top 10s, but only 1 of those being in the top 5. 30 of the 36 chartered full-time teams have finished in the top 10 this season. That leaves us with 6 drivers who have yet to come home in the top 10. A 2024 playoff driver in Brad Keselowski, Ty Dillon returning to the Cup Series, rookie Riley Herbst, Eric Jones, Cody Ware, and Michael McDowell still looking for their first top 10 this season. Wanted to briefly go over stages here, as Hendrick Motorsports has won 7 of the 18 stages run this season. In fact, these drivers have won the last 4 stages ran in the NASCAR Cup Series, Larson sweeping the stages at Bristol, and then Byron the previous race at Darlington. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin all with 2 stage wins apiece, and then 5 drivers have 1 stage win to get themselves on this list, 10 stage winners through 18 stages. Despite being behind Kyle Larson and William Byron in stage wins, Ryan Blaney leads the series in stage points at 89. Alex Bowman joins his 2 Hendrick teammates in the top 5 with 66 stage points on the season. All 3 Penske cars are on this list, Joey Logano in 6th with 64, and then Austin Cindric in 9th with 47. 2 of the 3 2311 cars on here, Bubba Wallace in 4th with 69, and then Tyler Reddick rounding out our top 10 at 46, and then 2 Gibbs cars in 7th and 8th, Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell, who was tied with Austin Cindric. It is obviously still very early days, only 9 races into the regular season, but I wanted to take a look at the playoff grid and see where guys stand. 4 of our 5 race winners are top 4 in points: William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, and Kyle Larson. Our 5th race winner, Josh Berry, is down in 17th in points, but I doubt we will see more than 16 winners this season, so that should not be an issue. You can already see there is some good separation here with a few of these guys like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, and even Bubba Wallace over 50 points ahead of the cut line. It does get a little tighter down towards the bottom with Chase Briscoe, Ryan Preece, and Kyle Busch all within 15 points of AJ Allmendinger, who's in 16th. Obviously, once the playoffs start, this will be reseeded and they will be ordered by wins, but I left it like this just so you can see who would be earning those extra playoff points that are given to the top 10 in regular season points. Of course, Josh Berry would be higher than all of the non-winners, like Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney. Taking a look at that grid, there are 4 drivers who made the playoffs last year in 2024 who are currently not in a playoff position, so I wanted to briefly go over all 4 of those drivers. First up is Ty Gibbs, who had a disastrous start to the season, but he has turned it around recently with 2 straight top 10s, and he has quickly inched his way to 20th in points, so he is definitely getting himself back into the playoff battle. Austin Cindric is a few points behind him in 22nd. He's been very strong at all the pack racing tracks, could totally see him grabbing a win there. Down in 27th in points is Daniel Suarez. That 99 car has not had much speed this year. It has definitely been Ross Chastain carrying that Trackhouse group. Really need to see some speed from that 99 car to make a push for the playoffs sooner or later. And this one, I cannot believe after 9 races, Brad Keselowski is outside of the top 30 in points at 31st position. That 6 car just gets burned over and over. He's had a lot of speed in this next-gen car. Totally not out of the realm of possibility for him to win a race, but I think any chances of him pointing himself in are pretty much done at this point. So Brad Keselowski is going to be going for broke at a few of his good tracks coming up here. Another thing I thought would be fun to look at were the drivers who have been caught up in the most cautions through the first 9 races. Now, I don't know how accurate this is. I did not go back and watch each individual wreck. This is just the numbers that are listed on the NASCAR and Racing Reference forums under the cautions. They usually just list the numbers that are involved in the caution. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is leading the series, being involved in 8 cautions through 9 races. It's a 3-way tie for second with Chris Buescher, Ty Gibbs, and Shane Van Gisbergen all being involved in 7 cautions apiece. That is especially impressive for Buescher, who is currently in a playoff position. Noah Gragson, Ty Dillon, and Eric Jones tied at 6 apiece. Cole Custer, Todd Gillen, and Kyle Larson all at 5 apiece. Again, interesting to note that Larson has been involved in 5 cautions through 9 races and still being at the top of the point standings. Of course, 2 of those coming at the Darlington race when he was already off the pace. And last but not least, I thought it would be funny to look at who has gotten the most free passes through the first 9 races. Who is the luckiest dog in the NASCAR Cup Series field? On the surface, it looks like Michael McDowell, but all 6 of those free passes came in the second race of the season at Atlanta after they had trouble early and rallied back through a lot of cautions to get themselves back on the lead lap. Ty Dillon 1 behind him with 5 free passes. Shane Van Gisbergen, Cody Ware, Eric Jones, and Ty Gibbs all tied at 3. Casey Mears is also at 3, but he did this in only one start this season, which came at Martinsville, which I thought was pretty funny. Our FK teammates Chris Buescher and Ryan Preece, as well as a former Roush Racing driver of the number 17, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., joining those guys at 3 free passes apiece. No racing this weekend in the Cup Series at least, so hopefully this ties you over until next weekend at Talladega. Thanks for watching.